Say what you want about Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, it's a very mixed bag for a lot of people. Many of us enjoy it and think it's an interesting twist on the Zombies formula, and many of us think it's nothing more than a steaming pile of trash. But regardless of how you feel, I think we can all agree that there's a lot of stuff that this game mode could have, and honestly needs, for it to be even more successful. So would you believe it, I thought of 10 things that Modern Warfare Zombies needs to reach its fullest potential. Let's get right into the first thing here, which is something to do with stashed contraband weapons. We have 20 slots for these bad boys, and it feels like way too much for something that I don't really hear a lot of people use in Zombies, which in DMZ it's a different story, but in this it's just not really relevant, or at least not all the time anyway. Maybe you want to stash that one really cool custom weapon you found, or maybe you want to take home the awesome variant you found off of that boss in the fortress, but other than that, there's nothing to do with these things. You already start with a free weapon insured slot, and once you get 2 of them unlocked, you're never going to touch these contraband weapons again. You're probably wondering what the solution is I thought of, and I don't have one. Am I the only guy that doesn't use contraband weapons? Am I just cursed to be so good at the game to never need to? Probably not. It feels so odd that there's all of these weapons sat there and I have no use for them. So maybe some way to break them down or sell them and use those for points to take into the next match. Or maybe add a scrap currency to the game like in Cold War Zombies. Anything that can make me feel good about getting rid of all these weapons. Realistically, something this game needs so badly in my opinion is an injection of Easter eggs. Which sounds like some kind of drug when I say it out loud, but you know what I'm saying. I feel like we need an update or something that is gonna plant a ton of side Easter eggs into this game. Things to do, things to find, things to solve, that's gonna do nothing but benefit the game and make the world feel more dense, because right now it still feels like a Warzone map, and that's a huge issue I have with the game, and I know I'm not alone in that. And yes, it does look slightly different, but right now it's just a Warzone map that's got a purple tint to it. Truly innovative design. My eyes wept tears of pure joy. It was simply breathtaking. So some Easter eggs to make this feel a bit more like an actual Zombies map would be really fun for everyone to find and discover and do. And it would go leaps and bounds when it comes to establishing itself than just the colour purple. Not only would it change the way it looks, but it would also make the game so much more fun. And if the story is lacking like it is in this game, then I say they need to double down on the gameplay. We want more to do than just camo grinding and challenges. And speaking of the lack of story, we need better storytelling. Right now, the main plot for the game is so surface level. The detail of the cutscenes go hard and everything, but the actual meat and potatoes of it, the substance behind it, it's just not there. It's nowhere to be seen. Except for that one part in the Act 3 cutscene with you-know-who. They got their spatula and chef hat and cooked quite hard for that one. But I also think that all rides on the fact that it is Samantha and it gets us excited because of that. But other than that, I feel like they could do so much more. Isolating the Samantha part, it doesn't even feel like there's many moving parts, or I'm learning more about the characters, Zakayev's motives outside of being a mustache twirling villain. I guess I'm saying they could up the ante a bit more and make the characters feel a lot more in depth. What's a good way to do that, you ask? More lore. Add more radios, make them actually listenable, because every time you do try and listen to one, you hear Green or Herrera start talking and it's like, just leave me alone, guys. I don't think the readable intel from Cold War was the way forward either, because trying to read all those made my eyes drop off. They need to go back to the whole show don't tell thing. The radios are fine if you could actually listen to them more, and they had more of them, and granted saying more interesting things, but also don't be afraid to show us things, put hints and clues around the map. Really let us piece this together and discover the lore and story. I'm not saying it has to be Warhammer scale lore, but some more would be nice. Onwards and upwards to the 5th thing, a player trade system has gotta be a thing. A way to securely give weapons, points, perks, anything like that to other players, and not have to worry about those damn vultures coming and taking things, would be a really nice quality of life update that I could see being really usable. Being able to prep before raids, or going across the river to tier 3, or even tier 4, by being able to safely, efficiently trade items and points to one another. Even weapons would be really cool. Instead of having to worry about dropping things and then it despawns on the floor or you can't pick it up, or someone comes and steals it, because they're Call of Duty players, so of course they do. That kind of thing would be a very appreciated quality of life change. The next one I'm about to say is one of my favourites on the list, so diving into it, public transport. Okay, when I say it like that, it sounds super boring, but listen, hear me out. Much like how DMZ had a train that could take you around the map and it was also full of loot, I propose that we have some public transport in the game so that players can get around, and it might even have some loot on it if you get there first, in the form of a train like DMZ, or better yet, a huge transit bus. Need I say more? Treyarch should just put me on the payroll now. The concept of that sounds so fun to me, and it feels like such an obvious thing. Now I do know that there are vehicles in the game that you can just drive, but this is straight up fun, and you can efficiently meet players to either join their squad or invite them to yours. It could rotate around the map to make sure everyone can use it and get to the other side of the map or into a different zone at their leisure, and it would be a good excuse to get Ted back. And for any of you slamming your fist down at your desk or on your phone demanding a story explanation for it, it leaked out of the dark ether. There's only two things I'm certain of in this world. One is obvious: water is the best beverage in the world, and two, the transit bus and or Ted need to come back at some point. On to number 7, I think a zombie fortress would be a really cool idea. And I don't mean strongholds, I mean something as big as the mercenary fortress, but an undead equivalent. I want to walk onto the site of one of these, turn the corner with a keycard, and then be met with a giant 3-headed abomination with those goofy ass legs. There could be a new zombie boss that could wipe the floor with me, that's always fun. And for all you camo grinders out there, think of the kill count. Make going through this flesh-eating fortress feel like I'm on Left 4 Dead. It would be a good way to get some loot, have some fun, and another reason to go and find a 6-man squad and take on this chonker of an expedition. Oh, this next one is going to make us stand up and dedicate our hearts. I think this mode would greatly benefit with a round-based mode. If it makes a simple set of survival maps that function similar to town and farm and all of the little maps we've had before, with a variety of game modes maybe, like gun game or grief, that would skyrocket the game mode and make those round-based only type of people jump on board. It would be a nice little return to roots for a lot of us to see us through until the end of this year. And I don't think anyone would really complain about it either. Just another fun way to play COD Zombies. And this would definitely hopefully keep the peace between people that only like the extraction type of mode and people that only like round-based mode, because it feels as though the Zombies community is going through its civil war arc right now. It's wild out there. So I'm going to put this friendly reminder out there: whether you only play World at War or you only play Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, let's just enjoy ourselves. I firmly believe for our second to last spot that in-game craftables would really freshen up this game mode and give us a lot more to do. Say you open up a duffel bag and you find the same annoying, useless duct tape and whatever else, and you sigh as you think, how could life get any worse? But then you realise Treyarch watched Exceptional's video and updated the game to have in-game craftables, meaning you can in fact use that duct tape and all the other junk you've came across to craft armor plates maybe, or monkey bombs, instead of having to use your hard-earned points for all this stuff. All you'd have to do is get to a workbench with said parts and have your very own Wonderwaff. Okay, maybe not that. They could make this gameplay and looting system spicier than a Thai restaurant. Could you imagine how satisfying it would feel to get all of the right parts in a game and trying to craft a certain item you've been grinding for and not managed to get? Being able to roll up your sleeves and craft things for your friends, trade it for perk cans or ammo mods or crystals. It wouldn't be a huge deal, sure, but it would make the game feel a lot more dense. And besides, it is a staple of Zombies after all, and even in this new formula I do think it would work, especially if the gathering of parts through looting was incorporated with it. Although I know you could just say play Lego Fortnite, but I want to have my cake and eat it too. On to our final thing. Sometimes it's the simpler things that go a long way, and that's why I saved this till last. You've probably been waiting for it to show up in the video at some point, and if you haven't, then let me enlighten you. I am of course talking about the very basic change of giving us a bigger stash. I've seen people asking about this from so early on since the game came out, and I've been wanting the same thing every single time I boot up the game. There's nothing more annoying than exfilling after a big grinding session, a backpack full of things, and you can't even store half of it. Seriously, we only get 10 item slots in our stash in a game mode that is so focused on looting, that is ridiculous. They should honestly double this. I want to be able to have enough perk cans to go into the game with a perkaholic stored away, and also, you know, some ether tools and pack-a-punch crystals would be nice too. Because I would say at this point in the game, especially now that a lot of people are getting past tier 3 into the tier 4 content and coming back with backpacks stuffed to the brim with ether tools and crystals and ammo mods and perk cans and schematics, and only having 10 slots for all of this stuff you would want to accumulate, it's not great. It makes my soul fall deeper into the abyss. There's not much more to say about this one. Just give us more room to store our hard-earned loot like the loot goblins we are, and that simple change would speak volumes. And those are 10 things I think we need in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies to make this game mode reach new heights and become way better. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there anything you'd want to add to this? If so, let me know in the comments and we'll talk about it. But anyways, I'm gonna leave this video here today. If you enjoyed, be sure to smash the like button, make sure you comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. You won't regret it. And turn on the notification bell too to stay notified whenever I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.